All right. Well, I'm sitting here with the Hansons. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and who you are to the well and how long you've been around?
All right,
Uh,
go ahead.
I'm Ashley Hanson. I'm a member at the Well. We've been around a long time, probably longer than I even really realize because I don't realize how old I am sometimes. So we've been around a while.
Yeah, I've been around. I think we started coming to the well when we were around 70 people, so quite a while ago.
Yeah, OG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. So around 70 people, and so just had a chance just to watch it grow and watch the church grow and watch grow in age and in volume. It's been just amazing to watch people come to know who the Lord is and try to live their lives out according to what He's calling us to. So it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. So, Rob, oh gosh, did that come? I'm getting notifications. Uh, that's my lie detector.
There you go.
uh, Rob, you are a elder at the well. You're the youngest looking elder.
There you go.
Opinion. So, what does that mean, and what does that entail?
Yeah, so um, we've kind of grown in the position for a while now, trying to figure out kind of what God's called us to do. It's when you break it down, it's calling you to shepherd the flock of God, right? And so as the church has grown, that has changed over time as to what that tactically looks like. And also, I think us kind of reading through the scriptures has kind of changed over time of trying to figure out how that kind of fits. But um, yeah, right now, the way that looks is we have, like in this time, uh, we have our meetings, our Zoom meetings, just like everybody else on the planet is doing. And then on top of that, reaching out to staff and also praying for people as they do prayer requests and reaching out to people in the flock just to say, hey, man, how are you doing? What are you doing? And just to encourage and love them right now. Just praying for them a lot. And that's pretty much what we've been doing right now.
Yeah. So, these series of parent interviews have been cool to talk to people in all different places of leadership at the well, and so I'm glad to be talking with one of our elders and his family and a bride. And so, tell us about your family, ages, genders. We're going to try not to reveal in our examples. We're not going to put anybody on blast, but just want to get a shape of your family.
So we have two kids. Nixon is our oldest, is our son. He's 12, but he's getting ready to turn 13 here in a couple months. And then Riley is our daughter. She is 10, turning 11 in about 2 weeks.
All right.
Personalities are really changing right now.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
have front row seats all the time.
Unfiltered.
All the time. I did see this great pic that came on Instagram the other day because I'm on Instagram now because, well, there's everybody is. So, and this kid was behind his dad dribbling a basketball while the dad was barbecuing. And, it's quarantine day 18 is what it says. And the dad picks up the ball and just blasts it into the field.
I saw that. They're all in the back porch of a 2-story house. Yeah.
And you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I started boxing a little bit during this time.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, you get that out of you.
Get that out of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are just telling me that you're repainting the inside of your house. You got all projects. Everyone does. I've been working on my smoker like all day. Everyone's staying busy. What has this time really been for you guys? I mean, I guess precursor being kicking the basketball, but what's this time been like for y'all?
You want to start with that?
Sure. I think in the beginning it was fun, right? Because the kids were excited not to be in school. And I like having them home. So it was kind of like an early summer break. And then we got homework and we got other stuff, and it got a little bit more complicated. Um, So it's been complicated.
Though we've been pretty busy. Like our kids are very active. And so this has really been a great time just to kind of slow down a little bit. I would say that's probably been just the biggest blessing I've had in this is just choosing to slow down, choosing to, focus and do different things specifically with the kids and even with the schoolwork. She's really good at English language arts, and I evidently can't read. And I'm pretty strong in math. So I actually that's why I was late starting this Zoom with you, because I was working on math with my son. So there are times where, it's a little frustrating, but at the same time, it's actually been kind of cool.
Yeah. What would you guys say has been like the good and the bad? What's been the hardest? What's been the best?
I think the best is we've had a lot of like really good family time. Like he said, we're busy a lot. We miss a lot of church because our kids are both. They got on the club soccer wagon really early on, and it stuck, and that is what they love to do. And so it's kind of become like a ministry of sorts for us. It's just kind of become a big part of who we are, or because of who they are. And so we've had a lot of like family time things we've never done. We've gone on walks and runs as a family and played in the front yard, just things that we don't normally have time to do. We've gotten to do a lot of that. And I think all of us have really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the same thing. I mean, we have a lot of fun as a family. I think like lately we've been slowing down enough to where it's like, well, everybody want to go for a run right now? Or, you know what I mean? We take the dogs on runs and whatnot. And so that's been a lot of fun. I think the ugly part has probably been at times where you kind of grind against each other too much. And like I was kind of explaining it to my wife a little bit earlier, kind of with my son. He's about to turn 13, and kind of what we're seeing in him is really just his own independence coming out, right? And so if you look at that, you can misinterpret that as just being disobedient. And at times it is disobedience, but at times it's just him just trying to be independent, and which is a good thing, right? So we just had a good talk as like in the middle of that is, I think as a family, when we grind a little bit against each other, is slowing yourself down and asking yourself some principles. So just some main questions of, does this person love me? Does this person know what's best for me, right? Or want what's best for me, right? And then just choosing to forgive in that. So the good things that come out of that are things like that. But at the same time, we tend to grind on each other a little bit, where eventually you're like, you want to kick the soccer ball off of the porch. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys had to sort of reshape your rhythms as a family? Like, do you have a set rhythm that you guys follow? Are you pretty structured?
So I would say, do you want to answer this? She's not a big fan of it.
If I was in charge, we would basically get nothing done. We'd have a lot of fun, take some naps, get nothing done.
Be like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory over here.
But Rob is very structured, even though because he's still working, able to work.
And you're a farmer, Rob?
Yeah, play in the dirt for a living.
Farmer Rob.
That's right. I just play in the dirt.
Oh, yeah, and I want to, at some point, I'm going to take my boy out there and look at your tractors. He is really.
You absolutely have to. You absolutely have to. Yeah.
He's like so deeply into tractors right now.
How old is he?
He is almost 2.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. So anyway, sorry. You structure.
Structure.
So I think after about the second or third day, Rob came home and was like, we're going to just switch it up. And I'm like, okay, I'm open to suggestions because the school's saying we're going to get work. So we're going to have to get on track. So he made us this beautiful Excel spreadsheet individualized for both kids for the entire week. It is very organized.
Complete with check boxes.
Yes.
Got to get those check boxes in. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
do
So,
you like those?
huh?
Do they follow the Excel sheets?
Yeah, they're pretty good
They're
about stuff like
pretty
that.
good. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a mix of like dude, you got to do your chores, man. Like, I'm not going to be folding your clothes. This is ridiculous. So there's chores on there. There's exercise on there. There's education stuff on there that they're supposed to hit every day. There's, they love soccer, so there's soccer stuff on there, right? So there is a mix, and there's also even some fun stuff. I want you to do this every day. I want you to have some fun every day. But these other things need to get done as well,
So like, I've had a lot of parents just be like, man, how do you avoid those days where everyone just wants to sit in front of the TV? Is it through structure?
We're not really huge TV watchers. I personally am not. I think my kids can be a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So if we leave the TV on, everybody does kind of gravitate that way. But yeah, we have structure. We have listen, your education really matters to me, and it should matter to you. So that's important to us, right? Now, if you go through, and man, your kid if they hammer it through and they do all their chores, and they get their schoolwork done and that type of stuff done, and they do their fitness stuff and they do all that type of stuff, and they're like, hey, I want to go watch da-da-da-da-da. Is that okay? We kind of gravitate towards yes. Yeah, I'm going to probably lean into that and say, man, if you've done everything that I've been asking you to do, then absolutely free time. Go ahead and just go crazy, But what happened was in the first week, the list was a little easier, and then they finished it too quick. So we added more to the list. And so basically they're getting, now it takes them a certain amount of time. And then if they want to do other stuff after that, they can.
But we noticed, I think the big thing with the watching TV all day, because we do that. Like, we have our bad days or bad day, in a row. We noticed that when we would have days like that, that's when they would fight more with each other. That's when we would have issues of just, disobedience in terms of hey, can you pick this up? No, I'm not doing that. Or they would just walk out of the room. If I walk slow enough, I'm invisible and no one sees me, kind of and so we noticed that if we kind of limited those days where there's just nothing going on, it actually they seemed actually happier.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as stir crazy. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, you guys are in a unique stage where you have some kids who are about to be introduced to whole new worlds of technologies. And are they in traditional school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so big school campuses and lots of influences and things. So technology comes up a lot in these conversations and how parents handle it, and almost tiered step that into their kids' lives. And so a lot of people are wondering, what does that look like for you guys? How have you guys as a couple talked through how you are going to introduce things like social media, if at all? How have you guys been talking to that? What do those conversations look like?
I'm not a huge fan of social media. I think it's interesting that I feel like it took a pandemic to redeem it, which I think that talks a lot about it. But at the same time, it is something your kid is going to get into, whether you want them to or not, right? So you can either be the first one to talk to them, or you can be behind the eight ball trying to figure out what it is, right? I mean, I don't see you being able to hold it back. Now, we are super honest with our kids about the dangers that come from it, about some of the things that have happened due to it. And we're just really honest about it. We're honest about the type of stuff they might be able to see or find on it. You know what I mean? And how that's going to affect them as time goes on. And so we're just really clear, and we're fairly unfiltered when it comes down to that. I mean, I have 10-year-old, a 12-year-old son. When I was exposed to pornography, I was 12 years old. And so and that was without social media. Like think about that, right? That was without an iPhone.
Yeah.
That was without an iPad. That was without privacy of being able to walk over here and hide from the rest of the family, right? I mean, so we're just really honest with them about hey, this is what it's going to be like. This is what you're going to find. So we do limit it. We don't allow them to just go crazy on it. We're very we did just start allowing them to have a kid's Instagram account, but we're the ones that basically look at it and we decide, if we're going to allow somebody to follow you, or if we're going to allow you to follow somebody else, we're the ones that click those buttons. And then we monitor it, and they know as long as we're operating in these parameters and it's been healthy, then there's going to be freedom. But if they step out of there, it's not going to be so free. And there's a reason why, so.
Yeah. And it's a scary step for a lot of families. And I think even scarier is when people don't think about it. And when they're hands off with their children. And, I'd much rather have a conversation with a family that's too strict in that area and needs to back off as time goes on, than one that does not care or even believe that it's a threat to their kids' souls or physical body sometimes. So, I appreciate your perspective. It sounds to me like your perspective comes from one of honest conversation and one that's built through a relationship with your kids.
Yeah.
Is that a strong family dynamic with you guys?
I think so. I think we try to be pretty upfront. We had a little bit of a misunderstanding earlier today, and I had to apologize, and I just said I've never had a 13-year-old boy. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. Where I was coming from, this is where the misunderstanding was. I'm sorry, and let's move forward. And I think that's kind of how we approach a lot of things. I think we're pretty honest with them that we're just trying to do the best we can. We didn't have a lot of these things when we were growing up, so we're not experts at them.
Yeah. I think we have a kind of a core value of being really honest and upfront, right? With each other, with what, you know what I mean? You look at ministries like Reengage and Regen and whatnot, and you're that's part of really who we are. And so we've taken that and that's who we are with our kids. So I'm going to be honest with my son about every little issue, and I'm going to relate to him and say, listen, I know when I see that in your eye, I know what you're thinking. Why? Because I felt it before. You know what I mean? And just being honest with them and then telling them, hey, let me show you how to navigate through that. And so we do a lot of that type of talks, right? Where we're just honest with them, hey, I've been down that road. It's not where you want to go.
Yeah, that's interesting. And ultimately they still make their own decisions, but I think you have to do everything you can to be set up for a place of influence with them. And I have always said there's sometimes nothing more bridge building in a parent-child relationship than being able to say you're sorry. And I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I heard I was sorry for my mom growing up. And I love that woman, but she did say it, and there was a lot of I'm sorry you feel that way. But and I think for me, I've always said that I want to be able to display the gospel to my child. And the beginning of the gospel is that we're all broken and in need of a savior. And that does not uninclude your pastor father or your elder father or your faithful mother, And so I feel that's really encouraging for me to hear. And sorry if you can hear my dog. I think my wife locked her in this side of the house, and there's nothing I can do. I texted her, but we'll see. You guys mentioned that you have loved having more time together, family time. what do you guys do for fun in your household? Do you guys do anything like together for fun?
Yeah, we do a little bit. I mean, like some of the things too, though, like, and that's kind of where I think that there's a mix of like having family fun time together where you're going to tell your kids, hey, you're going to come do this, right?
This is going to be fun.
Right. Now, I also will tell you, like, so my dad's a huge fisherman. Like, he loves fishing. I hate fishing. I hate it. I like to hunt, but I hate to fish. Right. And so sometimes I think you have to meet your kid, what your kid likes. Right. And so, like, yeah, my kid, he's playing Fortnite just like every other kid on the planet is. Right. One of the things he loves most is when I jump on there and I play with him. I am terrible. He has to keep me alive. Right. And so, but for him, he's like, no, please don't get off. Like, let's stay on. Like, let's stay on. Come on, Dad. Like, come on. So, you know what I mean? Like, so sometimes I think you also have to mix in there and say, hey, what's my kid love doing? Right. Like, the whole reason why we're kind of pretty heavy on what sport they love is because they genuinely love it. Right. So I'm going to play with you in that sport. I'm going to play with you what you want to do. Right. And so I think that's kind of more along the lines the stuff we do. My daughter, she loves to cook. So I'm going to like cook with her, even if it doesn't make sense right now. Right.
And bake with her. She loves to bake. They both like to bake, so we'll bake once in a while. But I think one thing that we noticed is like, this is a weird time for us as adults. We've never lived through this before, gone through this before, but in its own way, it's super weird for them too. They're not seeing any of their friends. I'm pretty sure my kids are over being homeschooled at this point and would really like to interact with other people. And so we're kind of, I think, in the evening when they have that like time when school's over and everything's done, we try to kind of give them a little bit of their time too, where they can maybe FaceTime a friend or, video, or game. I don't even know what it's called, but like when they're gaming, I'm not sure what that's called. I sound so old. Whatever. So he can talk to his friends on that. And so we try to kind of give them a little bit of that freedom too, and that space from us, because I think they're just as overwhelmed with us as we feel about them at times.
I think we probably get most of our activity time, like when you talk about activity, like they actually, in a weird way, actually like going running with us. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe they're like, I just got to get out of the house, and if running is my only option, well, then I'm running. So they'll go running with us, and they like it. And so we'll do that as a family, and they'll bring the dogs, and the dogs are all over the place. But so we do stuff like that, I would say. I wouldn't say we have like a set activity, like we sit down and we play cards. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't, no. So not stuff like that. We're kind of more along the lines of trying to find out what they like to do and then kind of try to come on beside them and have a little fun with them with it.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like fun looks very different for every family. And that's because every family is made up of different types of people.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any, I want to just wrap things up here, but do you guys have any sort of words of encouragement for families out there that maybe feel the fatigue at this time, or maybe some kind words for those who maybe feel like they're not doing enough and things like that?
I think the ones that you would say to you're not doing enough, I think you would say, man, listen, if all your kid comes out of this with is, man, my parent, maybe things weren't perfect, but they genuinely loved me and they were with me and they were quick to ask forgiveness when they made a mistake and they modeled what this life looked like right now. And your kid came away with that. But even if that's all they came away with, I think they came away with something that's fantastic, I think for those that are frustrated and like, hey, let me out of this, I want to kick this ball as far away, like, get off of me, kid. I think that there's a limited amount of time that we're going to be doing this. Mm-hmm. I also think that it's super healthy for you to have your own time, right? Like we've started to in the mornings, we wake up before the kids wake up, which isn't really hard because our kids sleep in, and we go for a walk. Mm-hmm. Just her and I. So like, there's my solitude. There's my like by myself without the kids on me, you know? And so I think like healthy habits like that, and then remembering that you're only going to have a limited amount of time like this. And what do you want it to look like when you come out of it? Like, what do you want your kid to have like learned, and what are the new habits you want to see your kid carry forward? Right. So does that answer that, or do you want to answer it, Adam?
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think, man, that is a great word, Rob. Feeling like, I think a lot of people feel the pressure to maintain, every piece of academics, every piece of athleticism, and everything in between. But I think the idea that your kid comes out of this being reassured that they're loved and cared for by their parents is a more than worthy goal. And I keep saying this, but just to remind families that, this may be, and honestly, hopefully is the last opportunity you get like this until for the rest of your lives with your kids.
Yeah.
For those with older kids, this is not going to happen again, hopefully, and God willing, right? There's not another pandemic, or we're more prepared next time, or whatever, right? And I feel like let's not lean too much into the things that are difficult, and lean into the privilege that this time can be. So,
absolutely.
And capitalize on that, whatever that looks like for each family. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for your words of wisdom and kind words and your vulnerability as a family. And we really appreciate it.
I love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Love you guys. Y'all. See ya.